Ooh, what's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto,
And I'm Keith Malashevsky.
and welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. First and foremost, Keith, how are you doing?
I'm all right. You
It,
know what I
it,
mean? Like,
in the midst
all,
that is 2020, and being a delivery person, if I can. Uh,
yes. It's a stressful time. I'm not gonna lie about it. There's a lot of extra layers to the job that have been added to keep us safe and to keep everybody out there safe. It's very different. I'm thankful that my job is in place. I will say that, despite the fact that um, to keep my family and friends safe, I can't really be around anybody.
yeah.
You including you. So that's now we have done our remote broadcasts, but
Yeah, now this is now the norm.
I
Like
said
this used to
social
be
leadership.
this used to
This is
be
the new
like
norm.
something that we did like when it was well really when it was out of necessity, and I guess by that standard it still is. But yeah. Um
Very much so.
it's good to have you here. In the war room. I can go like that. No, I go like this, and I can look at you.
Yeah.
At least to our viewers. But yeah, it's good to have you here. And kind of sticking with the whole theme too, and why I got this Cuphead shirt on. We got a little mini GDQ starting tomorrow, Keith. Um,
I saw you were pretty hyped about that.
to hit with a little nonsense right off the bat. Let some people join in, if you will. But yeah, a little. It's called CRDQ for Corona Relief Done Quick. It's going to be over the course of the weekend, not a full week long event like the Games Done Quick usually is. But what they did was they moved the summer back to August. Hopefully, we will get it by then. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we'll be back by August, which I think was a somewhat safe date to push it back to.
I,
And right now, everything is, and this is probably a little obvious, but everything will be online for this weekend's event instead of on LAN, like Games Done Quick usually is. But I'm excited for. I mean, let's face it, we got nothing to watch, right? So I'm excited. I'm very excited to have some classic games throughout the weekend. We're starting off with some Donkey Kong, some Sonic. I see Kirby's. Like, there's a lot of good games. I'm not gonna sit here and go down, like word for word in the thing. But all you gotta do is type in Games Done Quick, or even just gamesdonequick.com/schedule, and you get the schedule. And what I would do for everybody, if you can, is if you're an Amazon Prime member, it means you're a Twitch Prime member. So link those accounts, and then if you want, you have free charity money, and you can just subscribe to the Games Done Quick channel. Wait until tomorrow. Wait until the event starts. But once the event starts, they usually, or not usually, they donate their sub money to the charity as well. So I've been sitting all April on this sub, waiting to do it for this weekend, for my Amazon Prime, my Twitch Prime sub. So if you have it, or if you have just any extra cash, I know times are really tight, but if you can, donate to a really good cause. Um, and yeah, like I said, I'm very interested in this weekend. There's a lot of Sonic. I know Jamie J Ziggy. She's not in chat tonight, but she's in the war room in the background. I know she's gonna be excited for the amount of Kirby games that are on this
my,
schedule.
my brother will probably be pretty excited for Kirby.
Yeah,
My
so
brother is pretty excited about Kirby.
Super Meat Boy on the schedule. Oh,
Oh,
this
me.
game called Cuphead. What's Cuphead? Never heard of it. But yeah, Cuphead's on the schedule, which is literally it's one of my all-time favorite games, and I've got only to like the third or fourth level. But yeah, Cuphead on it. It's gonna be good. Mirror's Edge. Yeah, Mirror's Edge for
Here's that's a real fun game.
But yeah, so it's gonna be a fun one. I'm hoping I haven't really looked at. I'm hoping we get a TMR run. I don't know if I see his name, but like, I haven't really looked at uh, too much of like who's actually running what. But yeah. Can we use that free charity money to donate to specific pages? Like, I don't know, War Room Philly. Oh, we not yet, Steve. But I love where your head's at. We have not officially earned our sub badge, but hey, you can always donate. We got the donate button right at the bottom. I think it's Nick Foles. Click on Nick. It's either Nick Foles or Gritty. If you click on that link, if you wanna drop us a donation, that'd be it's always appreciated. We put it all into the channel. But yeah, one day we'll have that sub badge, and that's part of why we went here. Is just to like I said, just update everything, just to keep upgrading and helping the whole program. And Keith, if you can, you got the OG mic, and you're getting glaucoma vision. At least on my screen, you look good on my OBS. But if you can give that your camera a little tighten. Dude, I don't miss that problem at all. Oh, I love this new camera. Shout out to Logitech.
Yeah, well, listen.
You may have made it worse.
I may have made it worse.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to switch to the real-time view because I switched over to the chat view, which does not have real time.
Yeah. Maybe I can. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you. But yeah, Steve, again, I love where your head's at. It's good stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a fun one. Speaking of fun ones, we got a fun one. Deaf Worst. What up, Steve? We got two Steves in chat right now. So freaking meta. Steve and Coulter Todd, but I know behind that Todd is a Steve. But yeah, we're gonna be talking NFL draft tonight. We're gonna be talking, kind of preview it, lead into kind of a big announcement. Yeah, we're gonna kind of just that announcement is gonna be NFL draft based, chat, just to give you a little tip. But if you're an OG fan, this should excite you. If you're a new fan, it should you'll come full circle then. So it's just a little bit of a tip, a little tip off, if I can, a little tease. But we're gonna talk all of that, but just kind of starting off with things and how things are, Keith. Baseball has been doing some they're taking some ideas and throwing them against some weird walls and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. I don't know how you've looked into any of that, if you've gotten a chance to, if you haven't.
I've been looking at a little bit of that. I know, on a philanthropic level, they're donating their people and time and stuff for testing, which is really cool to get, because let's be honest, baseball probably has one of the broadest demographics as far as where people live, what they do, who they are, all that, body types, because you got Gabe Kapler's with like 2% body fat, and you got Bartolo Colon's who could probably eat more than I can eat in a week and a day, just to put it nicely. But yeah, so you got that going on. You also got the more on the sports actual level, talk of playing in empty parks, neutral sites in Arizona and out west, and ending up having their players, teams, everybody sequestered, quarantined for the season, which that's a bold move.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I don't know if you saw this, but in response to that, a Philadelphia Philly actually responded to it.
Oh no, I heard Mike Trout's response, but who do you have?
Zach Wheeler.
Oh yeah.
Zach Wheeler's like, that's not gonna work for me.
Did he cite why? I have reasons, but I just I
he didn't cite, but I mean his wife is pregnant and he is expecting a child.
Then that's right along the lines where Mike Trout's head was, which is also the same thing, where he's like, I don't know if it's like fair that you're asking us to be quarantined and sequestered away from our families, because like you just mentioned about Zach Wheeler, his wife is expecting, and on a human level, I get the tough guys out there. They're like, they make millions of dollars. But like on a human level, they should still be able to see the birth of their child.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's these are really interesting talking points that if they're gonna bring up, they have to also think of that. Like, yeah, these guys make a lot of money, but they're human, and to, like you said, to be sequestered and quarantined away from their families for, let's face it, baseball is not a short season. And even though it would be probably a shortened season, it's still it's that's a long time to ask someone to be away from their family.
And I
um
get it. I know that MLB brass really want it to happen. So much so that they actually gave in to some of the demands that the players were asking for, which is, okay, well, if you want to make this happen, then we want to make sure that off the bat, guaranteed, these contracts are going to be valid, and everybody who's due for free agency is in free agency next year. So one player notably in this situation would be Mookie Betts, who just got traded to LA for a lot. So if this does go forward, you can see the LA Dodgers paying a premium for a shortened period of time for them if they can't re-sign him.
yeah, again, it's all interesting. And then let's forget all of that, and now, Keith, just on getting back to just on a human level, uh, does does this make sense? Like, are we ready to take professional sports and make it a mockery, such as the WWE has of themselves? Like, and as a society as a whole, do we really, like, are sports essential? I get how much we need an escape, but, like, Keith, you and I having to go out there and work every day in the field, we kind of have a different feel for essentials now. And you know what I mean? Like, you and I, we do a sports talk podcast. We're I'm gonna we're probably at least a little bit kind of sports fans, right? If not huge to die hard, we bleed our sports teams, right? Probably leaning more towards that. So yeah, we're pretty big sports guys, right? But yeah, I don't know. For me, like, does it feel essential? I'm curious as to you too. Like, how much of an escape do you need? Also, I just saw in chat, those people are jack-offs and selfish to boot.
I
From
mean,
from Calther, from Calther Steve. I'll have to call him tonight when there's two Steves in chat.
I think it's a multi-layered argument because and I hate to say this because this is what everybody's been arguing, and I don't mean it in the way that people have been saying this phrase. There is an economic side to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sports are a huge, huge infusion of money on multi-level, whether it's television, advertising, down to food, actual volume of chicken wings that have been sold this year are heavily down because we didn't have March Madness, which is just ridiculous to think about. But you have it on all levels. The restaurants are already hurt and things like that. So on one way, you do have it that you kind of need it, but at the same time, you think about the logistics that goes into it. And if I were to pick one sport, it's not going to be baseball just because you got to think about it. Let's just say it's 25-man rosters, and we're not even going with the minor leaguers. You got 25 men right there. Then you got your coaching staff. Then you got your training staff. Then you got your grounds crew. Then you got the people that are taking care of the hotels because you're going to need, chefs there. You're going to need maids there. You're going to need, bus drivers. So you're not just asking 25 players plus the coach. It ends up being almost like a few thousand people that you're asking to stay sequestered or in some way quarantined for 4 months. It's just not a logical step. I like the fact that you have the PGA saying they're going to be doing something, because at least with the PGA, you can do some social distancing. You don't have the crowd. The crowd's quiet anyway, so it doesn't really affect too much of anything. You can have some kind of activity, some sportsmanship going on. I enjoy that. Basketball is another one where it's a smaller lot, and you could see something like that. but for baseball, for me, it's an absolute no. And in sports overall, listen, it's all about safety. It's all about health, and I'm gonna put that first. I love talking about sports. And what it's been 5, 6, 7 years since I've been on this show.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
you know, I love it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you've been doing this now for what, since like 2013, 14?
something like
Yeah,
that, you
and
know,
us as a whole, as the War Room or War Room Philly, since 2011. So yeah,
it's just I can't in good conscience root for a return to sports until we have a better way to protect people out there.
yeah,
Because it's
vac
not fair to bring people out of their houses and keep them away from families, and it's not fair to put people's lives at risk.
yeah, vaccinations or like the antibody tests, like things like that, are gonna go a long way to pushing this forward. But I think Steve Rooney has a good comment in chat. It's not essential. I want it, but I don't think it makes sense right now. And I think I really, I don't know if I can put it in any better words, because it's kind of how I feel. It's like, man, I would love nothing more after a hard day of packing everybody's lube up and sending it out to you to ship to them, Keith, because that's all people are buying from eBay is lube. It's very disturbing. I would love nothing more to come home and to watch, a baseball game or a playoff hockey game, because we were so close to that. Like the last real shows, Keith, we were saying there's still a lot of hockey to play. Be careful, and it's like, oh man, let's hope there's still a lot of hockey left to be played. And let's hope there's at least still a playoffs to be played. And again, that I think is more of the realistic talk that you were talking about, because those seasons have a playoffs, and maybe you can squeeze something in. But then again, it goes down to, with things like that, becomes, oh, everyone come over my house and let's have a party. and
Yep.
and the quicker that we try to rush back to normal, all you have to do is look again what China just did. And again, another spike there in China just happened recently because they tried to rush back.
I believe there's even historical reference that you can make with the Spanish flu. I believe that after World War I ended, that was during that time period, and I believe after, like, there was big victory praise and things like that, and that was another spike
Yeah.
of that coming back. So we have historical precedents to say, listen, just relax, just don't do things for a while. And as much as it isn't fun to sit inside all the time. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there are certain people who definitely love this and they're like, I've been living for this my whole life.
All I want to do is to sit inside, but yeah, it's been a lot, like for people, we're out there in the field and working right now. It's like, yeah, it's tough, and it's stressful every day going to work. And I'm lucky enough that I can drive myself, but like, people got to take the bus and the train, and
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, we don't need to look. I'm cool with watching The Office for the 70th, it's like, time or more. It's all good. We'll get there, but yeah, it's just kind of where I've been at with it. But yeah, it is nice to know, like, there are still things that we can talk about. Obviously, and like, we can even bring up the specifics, the nuttiness of, like, the baseball realignment, and things like that as well. And not only that, yeah, we're gonna be able to talk about the draft. So we have that, and we can kind of, this week we'll preview it. Next week we're gonna have a pretty big show. I think we can at least drop that we'll be live during the draft, right, Keith?
Yeah, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to that, and there's small tidbits that we do get to be excited about right now. So there are things,
Yeah,
which is nice.
Eagles still have a good amount of picks, and it's a lot of wide receiver talk.
There is I mean, there is a lot of wide
We
receiver talk because I mean that's
I'm already
a
on
glaring.
note. I'm already on note saying I want 10 wide receivers, or on record saying I wanted 10 wide receivers to the draft. I'm gonna shorten it. I'll go 5 now. I've thought about it. But yeah, I want 5 wide receivers from this draft, and I'm gonna hold firm
Well,
on that.
how would you feel if one of those wide receivers was one Oklahoma's C.D. Lamb?
That yeah, we're hearing a lot of Howie wanting him and this and that, and yeah, I'm okay with any of the big 3 or 4 now that we're hearing of from the wide receivers. Here's the thing, and it's always my big thing, my big policy with the draft is don't reach just out of need. Um, if anything, move up. If you know you want a guy, move up, but don't reach. Don't take a worse position because you need it. So that's where I don't want to just get blinders on and go. You need a wide receiver in the first round. You need a wide receiver in the first round. You need a wide receiver in the first round because, especially as a general manager, you can really set yourself up for a bad pick. What you need to do is get the right guy in the first
Yeah.
round. And I think
No Marcus Smith here.
yeah, and with as many picks as you have, you should be able to move up. I wouldn't mind, spending maybe 1 to 3 picks on that first round draft.
There's
Um,
been rumors that it would take a swap of firsts, a second, and a third
to get to Lamb,
to get to Lamb.
I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with it. And so is Steve. Steve says go get him. So yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
You know, that's fine with me. They've also in the same reports have been talking about if they don't get any of the top 4 being Ruggs, Judy, Lamb, or I believe it's Justin Jefferson is the other one. If those are the ones that they don't fall to you, there's been talks about trading back. How do you feel about that?
You're already at 21. I really don't like the thought of trading back. I love the thought of trading up. Yeah, trading back doesn't do much for me. That to me feels like you don't have a plan, and that's again you got the blinders on, and you only want this guy. Oh, he's not here. We'll just trade out, and we'll come up with a plan that the next day.
Well, I wouldn't mind if they traded back a few spots, picked up like either a second this year, second next year, something like that, and still pick somebody in the first round that they liked as a best available player because I feel like there would still be some quality players out there. I know we've been linked to a few other ones. I believe there was a center. His name is escaping me at this point. There's also a linebacker, one of the top 2 rated linebackers.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
now here's the thing. I'll say this, Keith. If the Eagles trade back, stay in the first round, and select a linebacker, I'm on board. Just because it never happens, and I love
from LSU. That's who they were looking at.
Yeah, to me, if that's the plan, that's fine because that would show a plan. But if you're just trading out of the first round altogether, and I'm not, I'll complain at least in the short term. I might get over it sooner rather than later, but I will complain in the short term. But yeah. I want a first round pick this year, and in my opinion, you want to be with where this team is. Trading back is something that you do when you're like, we'll get there next year, or we just need to acquire. Right now, this team is there, and they need to get up one more step on that ladder. And in my opinion, you trade up. You take as many of those bottom picks and you put them up in your first. You want. If they only come out of this draft with picks in the first, second, and third round, that would be ideal. You know what I mean? If it's like, oh, well, we went in with 10, but we only got 3 picks, but they were 1, 2, and 3, and it's like, and they were all high or something, I might be okay with that. But to just constantly trade back, and it's like, I think this team needs to address certain areas. You mentioned a couple already. They need the secondary still needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it, but linebacker you might want to look at. But your line is you let go of Peters. Like you were saying, Kelsey, you never ever.
They were looking at Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah,
That's the name of the center. He's getting older. You could use another lineman, both offense or defense. Defense would be more of an edge rusher, but you have so many holes that that's why ultimately I say, you know what, trading back, if there's a plan in place, a way that they go about this, I would be comfortable with that if they don't get one of those top four wide receivers because plain and simple, I'm not going to reach. I'm not going to reach for somebody, below that top four because most of those other guys, Brandon Ayuk and the such, are going to be available in the second round, and I would rather trade back a little bit, get another pick, and maybe still get one of those guys. That's how I feel about that.
yeah, I agree. As far as, uh, yeah, go into this draft, have an attack plan, and set out. You don't have to get you don't have blinders on one person, but all right, we want such and such in the first round. If this guy's not there, we have this. Like I just want to see a clear plan, and most of the time you get that out of Howie Roseman. So yeah, you can't really now whether the plan works or not is a different story. But usually they come prepared draft day, and we'll see. It'll be next week, and yeah, yeah, 1 week from today. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one. More importantly, I want Howie to hit on the second round. Tired of seeing teams crush their second rounds. We get JJ Arcega. Well, you can't say that and then forget that Miles Sanders was a second round pick, and that it's like he hits on the second round. JJ Arcega-Whiteside was a first round pick, and that's where we should be. You look at the first round picks: Aguilar, Arcega-Whiteside. Steve, I actually think you might have it flipped a little bit. I feel like they do better in the second and third round than in the first. But yeah, I still, to your point, I agree. You need a hit on these first three rounds. Kind of going to even what I said earlier, which is like target people in those beefy rounds because you want players that are a little more ready with where this team is geared, and that's where you hit is in your first three. Like Jason Kelsey was a 6th round pick, but he wasn't a star his rookie year. He was a bit of a project. It took about 3 years before he really started to click. That's nice, and we want that as well. But you also want to hit on these, specifically your 1 through 3. You have to hit, and not just one of them either. And I think that's another. I feel like that's like subtext in what Steve is saying as well. About like the Arcega-Whitesides and things like that. We can't waste picks on guys like that. Where I think did you say Marcus Smith earlier? I already forget his name. Yeah,
I did.
So yeah, we got a little bit of freezing on the video, Keith. So hopefully it clears up. If not, we'll fix it up real quick. We had this problem
by the way,
in pre-show.
Somebody actually did go ahead and put out there Howie Roseman's second round picks. So that was actually Dave Zangaro actually put that out there more to the point. And you are correct. He's actually crushed more on the second round picks because out of his 10 second round picks that he's really had, let's just run down this real quick. Miles Sanders, Michael Kendricks, Dallas Goedert. Like that's your top 4 right there. That's a pretty good top 4 second round pick. You end up with people like Nate Allen, Jordan Matthews, Vinny Curry that fill in this list too. So a little hit or miss, but that top 4 is a very good top 4. Arcega-Whiteside was a second round pick, by the way. Him, Sidney Jones, and Jaquan Jarrett round out the rest of that list, which if I had never heard Jaquan Jarrett's name again in my life, I might have been happy.
Yeah, true. And what up, Monk? I see. That's a new name in chat. But what up? We do still have Keith. Right now, I think you might have done it on your end too. We lost video, so I just took the screen off. But yeah, obviously, guys, you can still hear
Reset it.
Keith is here. But yeah, if you fix the video on your end, I'll just throw you up on screen. If not, no stress. We talked about it in pre-show. It's look, this is
Looks
gonna
like a
be
movie.
this is
We'll
gonna
see.
be yeah. On my end, I got nothing, so it is what it is.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
This is we'll work through this. This is the new norm, and you have to also remember, in general, the internet connect. Everyone's streaming right now. Everyone's watching something on the internet. There's no sports, so cable is worthless. So yeah, everyone's internet is just working a little wonkier, and that's probably what's happening to us right now. But yeah, again, if I don't know how I can try to do anything different right now on your end,
Yeah,
but
it is
we're
what
just
it
gonna
is. You
roll
can
with
still
it.
hear my voice, which is really the
Exactly,
important part.
exactly. But yeah, and kind of just staying with all this. You know, it's kind of a shame, Keith, that we lose your video now, but I think we can kind of give a little bit of announcement, if you will, that we wanted to talk
I
about.
think it is time.
But yeah,
I think it's
we've
absolutely
been
time.
talking a lot about the NFL draft and how we're going to cover it and this and that. We decided we're going to add a third person to the party, if you will, and almost honestly, it was almost his idea in a weird way. But we're going to bring back one of the OGs, if not the OG, Greg Hall from We Podcast and We Know Things, or the We Pod Squad.
Woo!
So yeah, he's going to be joining us for the show, and yeah, and hopefully we might, if depending on how clear all of our schedules are, maybe we can do a little bit more than just the first round. But next Thursday for the draft, we'll be live. We can stream the draft, so we'll just have it like where we'll just kind of stream the draft as part of our show, and we'll do commentary over it. And we'll just kind of work around that. But yeah, NFL is streaming it on their website, so we can tune in right there, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have the three of us back. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting. I think we're going to do it on Zoom or maybe Google Hangouts. We're going to figure it out. But today, that was the idea. And yeah, we're going to have Keith. What, the first 3-man show between you, Greg, and I since you took over? I mean, we were talking about it earlier in the show. 2014 was it?
Yeah, I would say that was a fun show in 2014. I'm excited for next week to be that show for us.
Yeah.
1 week from today, watching that on the NFL draft. What a better time? Not hockey like our first time, but I'll take another sports show with the magnificent Greg Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be fun. And yeah, could also just be a thing in throughout the future as well, where we're gonna get Greg on a little bit more, and just have another little voice, another opinion every now and then to come in, and especially help out with our busy schedules, Keith. If one of us needs a respite, if you will. But yeah, right now, are you guys past game watchers? Like when they put on the historic games? That's a good question. I've never been able to rewatch games, Super Bowl 50 excluded, or 52. I mean, I'll wrap up what we were talking about, and then we can get into that. It's a good question, Steve. But yeah, that's so that's what we're gonna do as far as next week. So no Wednesday sports show. I might stream some games, but yeah, we're gonna do next Thursday and potentially more. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see this whole draft unfold, and we'll talk about in depth and more more draft analysis and whatnot while when we pick back things up next week as well.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting to be able to have that and be able to talk sports and talk sport with Greg and you and really get this moving forward. Steve's question: are we?
Yeah, you pass or Keith? Are you a past game watcher? Like when do you like so? They've been playing like the no hitters recently a lot and things like that. But yeah, are you a guy? Have you been watching or have you watched anything like that?
I'll be honest. I haven't even watched the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
Like not that I wouldn't watch Super Bowl because of the significance, obviously, of what it is for us, but I generally do not watch replays of games. It is, I just can't, for whatever reason. I just can't bring myself to do it. I don't disrespect or I don't discount those who enjoy it. I understand why they enjoy it because it can be some nice background noise. It is very nice to be able to have some kind of sporting event on at this given time. But just for me personally, I'd rather watch a movie I haven't watched. I'd rather play a game I haven't played or possibly one I have and need to do more on. I just got Spider-Man for PS4. I got to work through that now.
Ooh.
So I have books that I'll read. I have plenty going on that for me, I don't do the past game watching.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that and on the norm. I usually wouldn't do that. Although when they played Halliday's perfect game, the one at Florida's new stadium, I did watch that one because I don't know if you remember during that game there was this other, I don't know, Stanley Cup game going on. So I didn't get to see the Doc dealing. Kind of tuned in like sixth, seventh inning on. But yeah, so I did watch the Halliday, the perfect game recently. But other than that, I like you, Keith. I haven't watched. I've watched clips, but I haven't watched the full Super Bowl because it's too long of an emotional roller coaster. I'll just be crying the entire time, knowing what's going to happen at the end. So yeah, it's like I haven't, and also, like you, I'm with you. Like we both had like film student backgrounds. Like I love watching a movie. I love watching just comedies, especially at the time. Like I will rewatch The Office as many times as possible. Then that doesn't matter. Streamers, I love watching Twitch. Valorant drops are hot right now. So yeah, I've been watching that game a lot. Trying to get myself a beta key. It's that's kind of there's always a lot. Esports is still going on. We still got the Fusion. In my opinion, don't ask the stupid standings, but the number one team in Overwatch League. So right now the Shanghai Hunters are 2-0, but because of everything going on, the schedule's gotten messed up. So they're 2-0, but considered the best team in Overwatch, even though the Fusion are like 9-1, have dominated all of the other best teams, and they're technically in second place right now, which I don't like. But I digress.
Unacceptable.
But yeah, there's still been, so like Counter-Strike's league kind of formatted themselves and reformatted to all online. There's been a lot of good esports as well. Leagues has been on ESPN too, which Keith, you know more about League of Legends than I do.
I do. I've played it a decent bit, actually. I enjoy it. I actually will watch it from time to time. I haven't watched it in quite a while because it's usually because my youngest brother has it on and he's watching whatever championship series is going on.
Yeah, LCS is going on right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
even like right now.
I'd have to. Yeah, I bet. And he's probably watching it right now.
I'm gonna throw up Twitch and see what's good.
But I'll do something like that. There are house projects that even though I am semi-quarantined, that I get to do outdoor things. I did some lovely gardening yesterday. I'll do all sorts of things like that.
No LCS right now.
I like being productive over watching games that I already know the outcome for.
Yeah, exactly. The only time I really ever rewatched games was, and this was bad, but for this purpose, for our sake, for WarRoomPhilly, I would rewatch preseason games because you could at least fast forward through a lot, and it was always easier for me to watch a preseason game taped than live. So especially the third and fourth ones.
I feel like missing a game during a season, because I've done that several times where I've missed a game during a season and I've had to rewatch it. I actually did that last Eagles season.
Hold on.
Yeah, good to see
I
that.
don't know if this is real or fake, but from Steve in chat, he says, "My wife and I watched rock skipping on the Ocho a few weeks ago. That's where we are at." Like, it's funny because I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I don't know if that's just a really well thought out joke, or if that's the general truth. Either way, it's funny.
I mean, at this point,
but yeah, that's yeah. I is the Ocho like actually the real? He said. Flyers Cup Crazy 2020. I think that's is that Joe? Is that Joe in chat? Is that another Joe name? But yeah. See, senor. So then Joe, all right. Since you're here, we'll re-announce the announcement.
Remember my real name. He calls me a different name.
Did you say Kevin? Kevin, that's Keith.
Quarantine has gotten to him.
It's Anthony and Keith. But yeah, Joe. Joe, this is one when we were talking about it. This is one I was like, "This no hockey got to be." So at least he could be a good sport. We were talking about it earlier, Joe, and come this time next week, you will be listening to Anthony, Keith, and Greg Hall, and we're gonna have a special 3-man show for the NFL draft. So I'm looking forward to it. Keith's looking forward to it. Greg's looking forward to it. We realize right now that like it's downtime and stuff like that, but people still need they need an escape. So as far as Keith and I, we're gonna get back to like some semblance of a sports talk show from here on out every week. Greg's not back, but yeah, he'll be back, and you'll see a lot more of him throughout like the future. But yeah, Greg is he's ready to get back in the swing of things. He's tired of just talking about nerdy stuff, and he wants to talk sports again. And yeah, he's gonna be joining us, Greg Hall of We Podcast and We Know Things, and also of The War Room. But yeah, he's gonna be back next week. And yeah, Joe, since you're like the OG of OG viewers, like you've been here through all stages of the meta, through WarRoomPhilly, I was like, oh man, Joe's gonna like this, and that got me hyped. We should be talking about a 2-0 Flyers series lead over the Penguins right now. It's funny, we were talking about this, Keith and I, in the beginning of this of the show, where it was like the last real sports talk show that we got to talk about. I was going, guys, there's still a lot of hockey to play. Like, the playoffs are a long ways away, and yeah, man, the playoffs are a lot longer than I was really hoping for, and all of us. But yeah, it's kind of now's the time that we just got to sit back and wait. And guess what? Carter Hart's still going to be fire whenever we start up. It's all good. We're good. No worries. I have no doubt that when the Flyers get back, the pucks don't lie. I don't want to hear any of the Flyers fans talking with. We can't have that negative vibe. I don't want to hear this would have been our season. If this season even gets canceled, that's fine. Next year's our season. It's all good. And if we do get back to hockey this season, then Carter Hart's still going to be fire. It's all good. And yeah, JVR will be ready. There's could be some good signs. Yeah, Oscar Lindblom could be ready by the time hockey gets back. Is that too soon? Did I lose Keith? Keith, you there?
No, I'm here. I've been enjoying everything you've been saying.
I just thought after I made that, maybe even Nolan Patrick for real.
The way I like really feel about this is that despite the fact that we were on a tear and we had legit cup aspirations at that point, we still had a nice season to build upon, and a lot of key pieces could be healthy again by next year if it were to not occur until then. Like you were saying, Oscar Lindblom, you have Nolan Patrick. Everybody that was young was gaining experience. It's JVR will be healthy. So you end up in a decent spot. I really hope they can figure something out and maybe have some sort of a playoff or tournament of sorts. That'd be nice. I don't see it happening at this point, but it'd be cool.
Yeah. So I think that I think that whenever things return to normal, assuming it's not too far out, I would like, especially I think like the NHL and NBA can probably throw together maybe like a tournament style playoffs, um, which could kind of be really sweet. Like now is the time to kind of play with some gimmicks. You know what I mean? Like now is the time where you can kind of like whenever you get the green light to have some half baked ideas, and one of them might work. Um, so yeah, it's like it'll it'll be interesting to see when this all clears up where we're at with the sports world, and as far as hockey goes, like and basketball, like these two are going to kind of be working intertwined with each other because that's how they work. In fact, one of the things that needs to happen is when this is all said and done, basketball and hockey need to separate, and we need hockey just like maybe like start hockey in August and end it in like the cup shouldn't be raised in the summer. The cup should be raised like max March. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have the cup raised, boom, March Madness. And then you can go in from like March Madness to something else, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think hockey needs its own time. Joe, I told hockey and basketball shouldn't be working like they feel like they're working against each other. And then
I think that's
when
why
you
we have so much fighting.
and that's what I was just gonna get to, which is like I also think that's why fan bases sometimes compete with each other because they want their sport to be more liked, which is somewhat understandable. But at the end of the day, who cares? But yeah, it's like these sports should work off of each other a lot more. And if seasons get canceled, that has to be put me in charge. That has to be the one thing that gets done. I will find a silver lining out of this somehow. If we lose a basketball base, if we lose seasons, then we have to realign things and just fine tune it and get everything in perfect harmony because it can happen. It's been talked about. It's been theorized. Smart people have done it, and I'll be one of the stupid ones to talk about it.
Yeah,
It's only hockey fans, NBA fans don't back. No, that's not true. Uh, NBA fans do, or like they won't bash them as loud, but there's like NBA fans will just be like, oh, I don't get hockey, and they won't give it a shot, which is almost just as bad as bashing it. So it's like
there's
it's
plenty
a
of NBA fans that just go, nah,
yeah.
eh.
Hockey and basketball will not be back if it goes until July. I think it is going to go to until July. I've been talking about. I was like, this is minimum until July. So yeah, off of that, you could be right. And then if that's the case, that's fine and dandy. But split them up. We have to split them up, and we have to. We can make this better at that point. So to me, it's you can still find some positives at the end of the road in all this, and the sports world will still come out on top at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Trump wants to Trump thought everything be open and by Easter too, so we won't go down that road too far. But I'd still go to a yeah. And Joe, I'm actually glad you said that because that's why we can't have these things, because people are so invested in it that they would, and then that's how you continue this and you make a pandemic go on longer and longer and longer. But that's not that we don't gotta get too serious tonight, or we could, whatever. I'll get a beer. But yeah, as far as as far as that goes, it's just kind of something that we'll be talking about it week to week. We'll be bringing up new and crazy ideas week to week. But that's kind of where we're touching base tonight. As far as, again, I can't wait for the draft. It'll be fun. A bunch. I want wide receivers. That being said, first round you can't toy around. First round you gotta hit on a player. You have to. I want to move up and get a wide receiver or a player that they have selected. That being said, Keith, I did really like your thought of moving back in the first round and taking a linebacker. From Steve Rooney in chat, thoughts on the recent OBJ talk, weighing the idea of having Wentz with elite talent versus reputation for being a huge distraction. What do you think? Have you heard? What have you heard on this OBJ talk, Keith? Joe says he'd take him in a heartbeat.
I'm on board with Joe, to be honest with you.
Things you don't hear very often. Keith and Joe are on board with each other.
He's been in the league for 6 years. One of those years, he had a very shortened season due to injury, and that was the only year he has not had 1,000 yards. Even last year, in a down year, he had over 1,000 yards, and he had quite a few touchdowns. And that was with Baker Mayfield. Listen, comes down to it, you need talent. And I feel like the situation here in Philadelphia is better than the situation in Cleveland. You have Doug Peterson. You have Carson Wentz. You have people with great character that can help keep him in line. That's what I'm feeling on that. That's where I'm going with it. And if it means that we have an elite wide receiver for Carson Wentz to throw down the field to, I am in.
Everything you said sounds great. You're right. That being said, OBJ. The only way I can say yes to OBJ is if I'm trading Alshon Jeffrey for him.
Well, yeah, Alshon Jeffrey out the door.
Regardless of that, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the only way if you cut Alshon Jeffrey, then that's fine. And I also don't want OBJ. But if for some reason that's the only way you can get rid of Alshon Jeffrey is to get OBJ, then I'll take it. But no, Joe, I don't agree with you. I'm still not in. Corona's really gonna end the world. Everyone agrees with me. No. Look, I get it. Everything you said is right, Keith. He is elite. He's this and that. He is a nutcase, and I do not want another old wide receiver. I want to go in on this draft. I want to get wide receivers there. Let's keep Deshaun Jackson as your one dusty veteran. I get it. I really do. I love the thought of getting an elite wide receiver. OBJ just seems too far out there. And I could be wrong, because the one thing I will say is he does look like he wants to win. But going off of that, he also signed with the Browns. So money is still clearly an issue for him.
OBJ is, he's 27, so he's not old. And he technically signed with the Giants. He got traded to the Browns. And that deal, speaking of, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for the next 3 years, is not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the deal, his money, like that part doesn't necessarily, but that's the thing, it's not guaranteed. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna keep bitching. He wants money, and this and that. And look, I'm not gonna win this argument. I know, like, I get that how good he is. I stay away from him. I don't need to go down that road. I think there are other options. And I also think that money can probably be spent elsewhere. But I get it. I understand the knee-jerk reaction and just want to, like, in Madden, that works all day, all night, right? And that's why we want to do it. But we've had real-life situations where we've seen that kind of works against them.
Man, this really is a crazy time. I agree with Joe, and you do not.
I mean, as long as it's not both of us, it works, right?
Yeah.
It always seems like it's one or the other. But yeah,
Corona or something. I don't know.
it's the Heineken. Nah, again, it's really tough. And that's usually not the way I play things, but I've just Keith, we've already talked about not how we don't want history to repeat itself, but how like we've seen this storyline digress so many times and go down the wrong road. I'd rock an OBJ Eagles jersey just to piss off Giants fans for nothing else. Hey, Coulter, are you still out there, Coulter? What would you think about that? Maybe if Coulter chimes back in, Coulter Steve, as I'm going to refer to him. But yeah, Steve was in chat earlier. If he's around, I'd love to know. Now maybe if I hear him talking about how that would piss him off, then maybe Steve Rooney, maybe you're onto it, because then maybe I got to go out and get a fresh OBJ jersey, just to troll that. You didn't mention the trolling aspect of things. Now that you mentioned that, you got me back on board. See, Keith, that's the kind of ways you got to start swaying me on.
I mean, listen, the troll factor is strong. That's awesome. You gotta make sure that's in there, because you're gonna have people up the turnpike just squirming.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, on that note, we will talk. We bring this up. You know what we can do with this? Let's bring up the OBJ talk next week with Greg too. I'd love another opinion. But yeah, we're gonna be talking. If not all drafts, we'll do it up until the Eagles pick, and then maybe wind things down afterwards. But if we want to do the whole first round or whatever, it's quite possible. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be next week. It'll be here on Twitch because it'll be easier to get all of us like synced up. So it'll be on Twitch right here, twitch.tv/WarRoomPhilly. If you're watching on YouTube, or the replay. But yeah, we're gonna have the 3-man show. It's gonna be all three of the War Room OGs. Because as we were talking about earlier, Greg and I were the first two hosts, and then Greg passed on the torch to Keith, and Keith has been keeping things running up and running for like 6 years now. So it's been a ton of fun. It's gonna be fun to have it. Every time that we've had the 3-man shows, albeit no matter who the guests have been, Keith, they've been great. I mean, we've had you.
Quite a few.
What's that?
There's been quite a few.
Yeah, you were the first one. Like, you were the. No, I'm lying. I wanted you to sound good. We had.
What'd say?
We had Murph. We had Pickle back in the days. You. We've had Kevin Christian. We've had Greg. I think Greg's done it once or twice again. We've had Sean Brace from Fox Sports The Gambler now. He's done, he's came on with us. So every time we've had the 3-man shows, it's been fun. It's always good just to have a little extra person every now and then. Keep things spicy.
A little extra flavor.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the draft in general. Just it's gonna be fun just to kind of have some sort of sports normalcy, because we can do the draft, online. Like we've already seen what a draft looks like with no one there. You know what I mean? Like that's normally how like the 4 through 7 rounds are anyway. So it's not gonna feel all that weird that the people are getting announced and there's no cheering or anything. Really, as long as they have a boo track for Goodell when he goes up to the mic, I think that's the only thing that needs to be required.
That absolutely needs to be done.
And like, if the NFL is self-aware at all, and if Roger Goodell wants to gain any likeness points ever, they have to put a boo track over when he goes out. At least once. Go out the first one to just the crowd of, a fake smattering of boos. I need it. Again, if it's your move, Roger, but if you want any likeness points because you have negative at this point. You have like at best negative likeness. You put yourself to a booed track.
I think that would be fantastic. It'd be hilarious, and I think it would actually boost popularity.
Exactly. It's like it's the one way that you'd be like, oh, he's a little self-aware. Okay. Show some human, you billionaire suit scum. But I digress. But yeah, Keith, any final thoughts tonight? Anything we missed on chat? Any final thoughts? Anything we missed on? Feel free to bring them up right now. We don't have to rush out the door. But yeah, what do you got anything, Keith?
I got nothing. This has been fun tonight. I've really enjoyed getting some sports talk in, and it'll be great having back-to-back weeks because who knows how much sports we're really going to have to talk over the next coming months. So let's enjoy what we got now.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. Like I said, we're gonna at least while the NFL season's rolling on for the next few weeks, we're gonna return to like at least getting something down. Some sort of sports, some sort of talk, some sort of sports talk, maybe. So yeah, we're gonna right now while we got the draft, we're gonna hit it hard. We're gonna grab an extra man, and next week it's gonna be a really fun show. So tune in. We'll stream. You don't even have to tune into the draft. If all things run smoothly, you can watch the draft here, and then you'll have Greg and Keith and I. We'll have our commentary over it, and I'll just kind of like play DJ and move them up and down, and we can talk over whoever's going to probably be like. And that'd be interesting to see how they're doing their broadcasts. It's probably going to be the same kind of thing as us, where they're going to be talking to the desk at their house, webcams and stuff. So we'll be talking over their webcams as well, the whole nine. It'll be fun. So yeah, I really can't advise enough to tune in next week, 7:30, right here on Twitch, for the 3-man NFL draft, the draft party, if you will. So yeah, it looks like chat has said their piece, Keith. You have said yours?
I have.
Well then, on that note, guys, thank you so much. We know we've been out of the loop as far as sports talk goes. I hope you've been enjoying the video games that I've been playing. Been doing a little Rocket League. I've at least been trying to keep that in as far as like the sports go. I'm like, if we're sports viewers, I'll play sort of a sports game. It's like if you've never seen it, you can just watch and you can figure out what's going on. Okay, it's soccer, but also crazy. But yeah, it's great to be back with you guys. Next week will be awesome. Stay well, guys. Thank you so much, Steve. And again, both Keith and I out there working in the field, we're doing our best, and we really do. We appreciate the well wishes. But yeah. On that note, again, sending out those well wishes right back all onto you guys. Please be safe out there. Please be smart. Don't take this thing too lightly because, say, for people like me, who I live with my grandfather, who has health conditions, it's scary for people like us who have to go out in the field and still work in this, and then think, oh, maybe I'm bringing something back to my grandfather. So keep people like that in mind. It might seem all well and good to the average person, but the people with underlying conditions and their family members, they're a little nervous right now. So all I can stress is to be kind. Stay safe, be kind to everybody. And if you can go a little extra mile to help somebody else out, do that. And even if that means just tuning in to GDQ this weekend and donating a little bit to charity, $5 to charity. Honestly, just watch. You being of you, share it. You don't even have to donate. Just watch. Just tune in. That'll help. That'll help everything. That helps sponsorship. So that's that little bit can help. So yeah, tune in to GDQ. Tune in to more importantly, tune into us next week. 3-man show. It's going to be a lot of fun. On that note, I am Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And we are out of here. Thank you guys all so much. Keith, did you have anything else? I kind of feel like I cut you off.
Nope, that was a good sign off.
All right, awesome. Well, then we are out of here.